Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Christine Beck. I am with the Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance. Today is Thursday, November 10th, 2022, and we are glad that you have joined us to learn from a fabulous poet and artist. The Alliance is proud to be an initiative of the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities. This presentation is being recorded and will be placed on the Alliance's YouTube channel. Chris, take it away.
I am Chris Viau. I work at Arts of Life. I am on the career track. I will answer your questions at the end. This presentation is titled View of the Art and Listen to Poetry About Fall. I am a chalk pastel artist. I am a poet too.
All right.
I enjoyed natures. I roll through the nature path by my house. Sometime I write poems on my Dynavox outside. I enjoy looking at changing of season. Sometimes I go out to the nature parks with my friends. I am a big Cubs fan. I was overjoyed when the Cubs won the World Series in 2016. I am inspired with nature when I can go outside. I do my art and write poems about nature. When I was younger, I went to camp. That's where I fell in love with nature. Now I am still go to camp. We do a lot of fun things like boat and zip lining. The three most subjects I do are Midwest landscapes, sunsets, and mountains. I live in my apartment with aides coming in to help me. I work at Arts of Life. I had been in many art shows. And I had a solo show at OTR Gallery. My art gives meaning in my life. I can share my creative talent with other people. I was commissioned to do 11 pieces for Over the Rainbow, an apartment building in Chicago. I wrote 3 books. The books' titles are Chicago Seasons and Being in Harmony with Nature. I wrote my autobiography, My Own Ways Through This Life. Arts of Life advances the creative arts community by providing artists with intellectual and development disabilities a collective space to expand their practice and strengthen their leadership. The art piece titled Sunset on the Shoreline. Another cloudy day. It is dark and depressing. Animals stay hidden from sight. The trees are like rest of us hoping for sun. The days put people in a bad mood. All earth creatures wish for sunny days ahead. The art piece titled Deer in the Woods. At sunset in a field at sunset you will find some big animals feeding on grass. Deer are light brown and large. The male deer have antlers. Their fawns have white spots and walk with their mothers. You can watch deer eating up close. I am amazed at how close. I could watch deer in a field. The art piece titled Bird's Eye View of Fall. Last nice day of the year outside. It is a nice warm day. Birds fly south in a shape of a V to their southern vacation spot. Animals are getting ready to take their long winter nap. Trees have lost all their beautiful colors, and their colorful leaves are on the ground. The art piece title A River at Sunset. The mighty power of rivers. All rivers have a starting point. All rivers have an ending point. Some rivers are big for barges to move grain and coal, while others rivers are small. People can catch fish along their shoreline. Rivers are home to fish, animals and plants. The art piece title Looking at the Colors. Fall colors. The trees show their beautiful color. Their orange, red, and yellow leaves. A landscape of colors when you look down from a bridge. In the woods when you walk, the leaves fall and cover the ground with colors. The art piece title Watching the Sunset. A V shape in the sky. Is this a spaceship from another planet? It sounds like a lot of clucking. About 20 geese landed like a dance. They eat worms from the field before heading south for the winter. The art piece title Fall at the Edge of the Lake. Indian summer in the middle of September, a couple of days the temperature gets into upper 70. People come out and enjoy the warm weather. Some bike ride, while others look at fall colors. It is a beautiful couple of days before the cold wind blows. The art piece titled Four Seasons Winter. Evergreen, you are one of the kind. You live in the coldest places on the planet. You have not leaves but needles. They never fall off you in the winter. The art piece titled The Pine Tree's Fire. Fire, fire. Lighting strikes the dry tree. The forest is dry. Little rain had fallen in the couple months. The died-out pine trees are great fuel for the large hot fire. The fire burns too fast coming for the town. People do not have much time to get out.
Chris, this is Christine. Before we go to the next slide, I am just going to check the chat to see if there's anything that people are asking, and there are, but we will do that. We will do that at the end. So again, if everybody except for Chris could be on mute, that would be wonderful.
So even animals are scared of fire too.
Yes, they are. All right, we're going to continue on. And so Chris, go ahead with this slide. And Chris, this is Christine. Did you have anything to share during this slide, or should I go to the next? Okay, so I'm going to share some information about the Alliance. While I am doing that, if you could be thinking of any questions or comments you might have for Chris, we will open it up to sharing those.
So even the animals are scared of fire also.
Yes,
you know,
thank
like
you for
the deer and
yes,
like the deer and the ginsbucks.
yes,
They're scared of fire too, because if it gets to their homes, they don't have a place to stay.
That is correct. Thank you, Steve. And I'm going to ask Adam Weiser. Adam, would you be able to take yourself off of mute to briefly introduce yourself and to share about the next couple of slides?
Hi, my name is Adam Weiser, and I am the project director of the Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance. The Alliance is a network of advocates and self-advocacy groups around Illinois that began in 2008 and are funded by the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities.
Thank you, Adam. This is Christine, and the image on the screen is a picture of the Alliance's board of directors. This picture was taken a couple years ago, and so this is not our current board of directors. We are proud to say that our board of directors is comprised of people with disabilities. Yeah. Adam.
Our mission and vision. Our vision is for self-advocates to work together to get the support we need and to live the life we want in the community. Our mission is to speak up for ourselves and each other while working together to make changes in our communities and in Illinois. Our focus is on empowering people to speak up about what they want and need, don't want and don't need, action plan their goals, participate in advocacy at the personal, agency, community, and statewide levels.
Thank you, Adam. And our closing slide, we just want to share that we do have an email. So if you'd like to reach out and connect with us at the Alliance, our email is info@selfadvocacyalliance.org. We do have a website, selfadvocacyalliance.org. You can find us and like us by searching for Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance on Facebook. And we also have a YouTube channel where we have more than 60 recorded presentations. You can find us and subscribe to our channel by going to YouTube and searching for Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can all see each other. And if you want to ask a question, you could either type it into the chat box, or you can raise your hand and we can take you off of mute. And you can ask Chris some questions. Chris, we did have some questions come in. If I may go ahead. It says, Chris, you are so talented. What inspires you? So there's a couple of questions in here, and I'll just ask them one at a time. What inspires you?
Nature.
Oh, beautiful inspiration. Here's another piece to that. What are your favorite art mediums to use? I notice your work has a lot of watercolor and pastels. Just gorgeous. So I think the question here is, what is your favorite art medium to use?
Pastels.
All right. Here's a comment. I'm getting the sense that you do not like the winter. No winter there. And then the final question in that one is, are any of the pieces that you shared for sale?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I know that you can go to Arts of Life and check out the artists, and check out the artists and check out Chris's page there on the Arts of Life website. Chris, I want to share that I really liked the poem. I think it was The Last Nice Day or something like that. You talked about the weather being warm and the trees, you know, the leaves are on the ground. And as I look outside today, that I think it might be the last nice day for a while because things are going to start getting colder. So that poem really resonated with me. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Oh, Anne, yes.
Yeah, I actually had a question, I guess. I was just wondering if we could look at some of the pictures a little bit longer. I feel like I need more time to process them. If we could just like have the photos up maybe while we're talking about the artwork and the presentation.
Okay. Absolutely. While I get that prepared, here's a question for you. Chris, do you have a favorite artist? Do you have a favorite artist? And so I'm going to go ahead and reshare the screen, and we'll go back through each of those pieces of artwork. And Chris, again, I think the question was, do you have a favorite piece or a favorite artist?
Not really.
Okay. And so Anne and Chris, I have the different pieces pulled up. If you would like to facilitate any questions or discussions around each piece, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I think maybe Christine, if you'd like to just scroll through them and then people can have a chance to see if there's one that they wanted to ask any questions about.
Okay. So if I could, Chris, if it's okay with you, I will read the description at the bottom. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. This first one is called Sunset on the Shoreline. It was done in 2020, and it's watercolor on paper, 9 by 12 inches. Let's see. Then this one, I really like this, and then the poem. This one is called Deer in the Woods. It was done in 2019, and this is chalk pastel on paper, and it's 18 inches by 24 inches. And I really like the poem that accompanied it, where you talked about the mom deer and the male deer and the baby deers. And yeah, I like that. Yeah. And so it sounds like you could get kind of close to those deer. That's really cool. This piece is titled Bird's Eye View of Fall. It was completed in 2020, and it is a watercolor on paper, 9 inches by 12 inches. Oh, yep. Last nice day of the year. That one just really, that resonated with me. Oh, this is beautiful. This one is titled A River at Sunset. It was done in 2020, and it is watercolor on paper, and the size is 9 inches by 12 inches. This piece is just really glowing. I don't know, it's just like popping off the screen here. It's called Looking at the Colors. It was done in 2020, and this is chalk pastel on board. And this is a bit larger size. This is 30 inches by 40 inches. So yeah, that's a good size. I just like how this is glowing. This piece is called Watching the Sunset. It was done in 2021, and it is a chalk pastel on paper, And the size is 9 inches by 12 inches, or similar to a piece of paper size, a piece of notebook paper. I like this one as well. This one is titled Fall at the Edge of the Lake. Completed in 2020. It is watercolor on paper, and the size is 14 inches by 10 inches. So a bit bigger than a piece of notebook paper. I like the soothing blues in this one as well. This one is titled 4 Seasons Winter. It was done in 2018, and it is chalk pastel on paper. And the size is 14 inches by 18 inches. So again, bigger than a piece of notebook paper. This one has a glow as well. And it is titled The Pine Trees Fire. And it was done in 2021. It's chalk pastel on paper, and it is 18 inches by 24 inches. So it's a good size. And this is the one that, with the poem, Steve was talking about, even the animals run and hide from the fire. They're running to find different homes. All right, so we shared all that wonderful artwork again. And let's see if we have any other questions. And there was one that Tara really liked, and she asked if it was for sale. I'm not sure what one that was, Tara.
I was keeping track, Tara.
Oh.
Actually, Christine, if you want to give my email to Tara, we can connect.
Yes, yes. All right, all right. Yes, I will. Tara also said, I just feel so overcome by your work. Thank you for sharing all of your talents with us. And I think that's what artists try to do. They try to get their work, whether it is photography or pastels or watercolor or words or poetry, or maybe they're actors or dancers. They try to get you to feel something. So, Chris, when you see a piece of artwork that you really like, does it move you? Do you feel a certain way inside?
I feel good.
Also had a question. You showed a piece called The 4 Seasons, and that one was winter. Have you done spring and summer and fall? Is it a whole series?
Yeah.
Okay. And here's another question. It seems like your pictures, your artwork goes with the poetry. Do you do the poem first and then the artwork? Or do you do the artwork first and then the poem? Or does it just depend? Just depends, huh? I know you mentioned earlier that you are really inspired by nature. And does that inspiration come from you getting out into nature? Is it looking at pictures or watching programs about nature?
Getting out into nature.
All right, so actually physically being in that space. I like that. We have some other questions. The first is a comment and then a question with it. Chris, thank you so much for sharing your poems and art. You might have already answered this, but how does creating art make you feel?
I feel good and I hope people see me as an artist.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Now here's a question just for fun. Chicago Cubs or Chicago White Sox? Who's your team? Well, you know, so Chris is sporting a Chicago Cubs shirt today. All right, so you're repping the team. Here's another question. You mentioned liking pastels. How did you come to choose pastels as one of your favorite mediums to work with?
I find it easy to work with.
All right, so that's part of it. You find pastels to be easier to work with than maybe some of the other mediums. Here's another question. You mentioned that you had someone commissioned 11 pieces to be in a building. Did you go and see those pieces after they were installed at that building?
Yeah.
All right. Are they still there in that space?
Yeah.
All right. Here's another question. You have artwork of all sizes. What is the biggest piece of artwork you've done? Like what size? Okay. I know some of them were pretty big, you know, a couple of feet by a couple of feet. Here's another question. When you do commission pieces, do you do them there at your studio or do you go to the place where they're going to be and do it there?
Studio.
All right, you do your work in the studio. All right, here is the last question that I see. Are you always inspired to do your artwork? And if so, what keeps you inspired? And maybe it's what keeps you inspired to continue going with your art and your poetry? Okay. Do you ever go into the studio and say, I just don't know what I'm going to work on today. I don't have any creative juices flowing today.
Yeah.
So that happens with artists. And they shouldn't get discouraged, right? Because even artists have days where they can't do it. I think that's a lesson for all of us to just keep going. Does anybody else have any questions or comments for Chris before we finish for the day?
I don't have any problems with my ideas. You know, I don't have no problems with my ideas. I just do what comes to my mind. Like the collage and everything.
Oh, thank you, Steve. So you're an artist as well?
Right.
Okay.
I don't have any problems with ideas. You know, it comes to my mind, like the collage I did.
Okay.
And then I just do it.
Okay.
I just do it.
Well, thank you for that.
I think of things like, for instance, the collage
and
everything else like that because I don't.
All right. Kind of lost Steve there.
I say I don't know what I know what I'm going to do next because I don't have any of that kind of problem. Like Chris, he thinks of what he's going to do next, but I don't have any problems like I have.
Okay. You know, I think every artist approaches it differently, based on what works for them. Thank you for those comments, Steve. We appreciate that. We have another question for you, Chris. Can you tell me how long one of your paintings takes to make? About how long do you work on a painting?
Two days.
Okay, 2 days. That doesn't seem like a lot of time. Seems like you work pretty quickly. I guess if you've got the idea, you got to get it out and onto the paper, right? All right. Well, as we wrap up our time together today, we really appreciate everybody joining to learn from Chris about his artwork and his poetry about fall. Again, you can go to Arts of Life on the internet and check out what they do there. You can check out Chris's artist page, connect with him that way. Chris, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we end? All right. Well, on behalf of the Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance, Chris, we celebrate you and your artwork and your poetry and the gifts and talents that you bring to the wider community. I hope everybody has a great day. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.